Assalamualaikum and very good morning to Sir Maktawi. Today, me and my fellow group mates will present our group assignment under the title "The Collapse of Hyatt Regency Skywalk on Kansas." Okay, first of all, let me introduce our group members. First of all, it's me, Muhammad Nur Mujahid bin Muhammad Nazri. Second is Muhammad Akmal bin Ismail. Third is Noizalin binti Roslan. Fourth, Aisyah Saadiah binti Abdul Aziz. Nur Natasah binti Syamsul and Nur Azian binti Yahya. For the introduction, on July 17, 1981, two walkways at the Hyatt Regency Kansas City Hotel collapsed, resulting in 114 deaths and at least 216 injuries. When the walkways collapsed, a tea dance was taking place in the hotel's lobby. This was both the deadliest structural collapse and the deadliest unintentional collapse in American history. It was July 1980 and many aspects of the project were cutting edge in terms of architecture, particularly the atrium that linked the hotel's tower block to an adjoining complex. A year later, on a Friday evening, 2,000 people had gathered in the atrium for dance party when the two suspended walkways that ran the length of the atrium collapsed. When the accident struck, many partygoers were standing on the sidewalk.
Okay, and then we continue this present with issue related to project management of Hyatt Regency. The first one is about communication failure, second ethical issue, and third interaction between labor and project manager.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurizalin and I will present about issue related to the project management. First issue is communication breakdown. Communication breakdown was one of the problems that caused the Hyatt Regency Skywalk to fall. There were insufficient communication channels in place to guarantee that information was communicated and interpreted correctly by all the parties concerned. Due to the lack of effective communication channel, crucial information concerning design change and potential safety risks did not reach the appropriate personnel in timely manner. The walkways designer team did not effectively communicate the change to the fabricator or the building crew. Because the walkway original design did not support the altered structure, the building crew erected them in accordance with the design. In testimony before administrative judicial hearing following the accident, the fabricator claimed that his company, Heaven, contacted the engineering firm GCE for change approval. GCE denies ever receiving a call like that from Heaven. This design was been revised according to the structural engineer during the post-accident assessment. Instead of the anticipated continuous tie rod, they altered the design to add two sets of tie rods. This action have a fatal consequence. Furthermore, the investigator discovered that the design was revised over the phone without reviewing the paperwork or computation. The accident functioned as a strategic memo of the crucial effective communication in the construction project. It highlighted the need of clear documentation, collaboration among the stakeholders, open communication channel, and proactive approach to addressing concern and potential design flaws.
Public safety is the most significant ethical problem. The contractor did not think that their action could harm the public safety and welfare. All they thought is about doing the job easier and get it done as soon as possible. The fact that the design is not suitable for the structure, but they still process with it. If this had been taken into account, fatalities like this would not happen. In the end, it affected all the innocent people's life.
Next issue is about interaction between labor and project manager. Gilliam and associated preliminary sketches were interpreted as final by Heaven Steel. Despite improper communication between the two companies, the initial design were not carefully reviewed and worker made mistakes that lead to the accident. Worker neglected to report the bending of the beam and the estate stirred their wheelbarrow around the unstable footpath. They should have reported the defect to the project manager for detailed action to prevent accident before, during, and after construction. If the project manager knew about the defect they could take appropriate action to prevent the collapse.
The failure of connection supporting the fourth floor walkway ceiling rod is the main cause in the collapse of the Grand Hyatt Skywalk. It had been revealed that the contractor had modified the design in the last minute to make the assembling of the rods easier. Later, they recognized that this was a possible hazard to the structure and decided to add rod ties to connect to the second floor walkway with the ceiling in two separate parts. Although the design looks like a minor change, it is enough to make the fourth floor walkway to carry double the load that it is supposed to hold, which caused it to split. And in the end, both the rods and the beams were damaged. Furthermore, at the time of the failure, a large crowd had gathered to watch the dance contest held, which increased the load on the connector by 2 times, eventually leading to the walkway collapsing.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nadia binti Abdul Aziz. My metric number is AP210358. In conclusion, the failure of the Hyatt Regency Skywalk serves as an illustration of how important parties in a project have an effective impact on communication with each other, since any engineer or architect who took the opportunity to consider the consequences of this adjustment would have determined potential structural issues. Only buildings with little or no alternative ever experience total collapse due to connection failure. The failure of one link has caused the breakdown of surrounding connection, which has resulted in an overall collapse. This case serves as a good illustration, as well as the consequences that come with failing to fulfill one's professional responsibilities. These case studies are particularly suitable for use in lessons on structural, static and material design. However, it is good as general overview of the effects resulting from professional actions. Finally, the walkway collapse at the Hyatt Regency served as a terrible reminder of the value of the small details in engineering design and manufacturing drawings, as well as the expensive impact of inaccuracy in this area. That's all from us. Thank you.